Welcome back to another exciting VHS Video Vault episode. Trip to Oregon, 1990 and 1993. From Michigan to Oregon. We always make plenty of stops to see lots of good sights. The weather wasn't good, but Mount Rushmore is a beautiful place. Hop in the old rusty Chevrolet, here we go. Every 3 years, my family would make the trek from Michigan to Oregon. We had plenty of family to see, and the family was always glad to see us. This will be the first time we had the VHS camcorder, 1990. These are my stepdad's tapes, so he will be doing some narrating, and he's got quite a sense of humor. And one of our favorite places to stop is Yellowstone National Park, coming up right now. I'm about 12, almost 13 years old here, and my stepdad will tell you all about me.
There's Shlisa, the middle one. And Ornery and Goofy is the other one. At times, gets real upset pretty easy. And of course, the little tiny one is Jamie Joe.
Ornery and Goofy.
And other visitors to this scenic wonder.
I'll take it.
And there's my wife who puts up with me.
Ah, the American bison. Always cool to get out and see those. You don't see them every day. Coming up, my stepdad, he loves to film waterfalls. And boy, is he a hoot. So listen carefully as we're about to take a trip down the waterfall.
Here we go, we're riding down the river. Oh no, I hear a waterfall. Here we go, we're riding down the river. Oh no, I hear a waterfall. Quite a show here. We're at the bottom of where the stairs come out for viewing the lower falls. We'll zoom back so you can see how far away they really are. Down the falls we go. Shlisa again. The rest of the tribe ought to be right behind.
One just is not going to change lanes.
I can't see them.
These are all boys.
Yeah, you steer. Craters of the moon. Lava formations here.
Craters of the moon in Idaho. Lava rocks everywhere. Even caves to explore. While editing this, I couldn't help but notice pine trees galore. They'd be really hard to get to climbing over them rocks. Wouldn't be worth it. But wow, there's just pine trees scattered all about in them lava rocks. Look at all that. I wouldn't be surprised if those are lodgepole pines. Yeah, we always like to stop and visit Craters of the Moon. This time it was especially cold. Wow, was it cold. I took my son here in 2005. We went in August. Oh, I don't know which was worse, the heat or the cold. It's a great place to hike, but you gotta have good ankles and be super careful. I remember this specific trip. We all went running back to the Chevy Malibu Classic. And we climbed in there and got the heat going and warmed up the best we could. And then now we're on our way, long trip through Idaho and Oregon to the west coast, where we go to visit family in Harrisburg, Oregon. Right here is my cousin. We made it to their house. He took me fishing on the river there. I think it was the Willamette. Oh man, I'm not used to big water like that, fast moving water. He took me fishing a few times. It was real fun. And now here we are at Shoreacre Gardens. It's a beautiful garden along the shore. It's a great place. We always make sure to stop there. And of course, it's on the shore. It sure was a long hike down the stairs to get down there and back up, but well worth it. Oh man, the Wildlife Safari in Winston,
I
Oregon.
think he's hungry. Let me in, I'm hungry.
Hey. You need to look this way.
Where'd you get this piece of shit?
Quiet.
Oops. Watch your tongue,
Checking
young
us
lady.
out, gang.
Yeah, he was checking
This
out.
was no ordinary safari. This was an extra special safari. This means a lot to me. The Wildlife Safari in Winston, Oregon is in the same valley as my grandmother's home. And you could walk up and down Looking Glass Road and hear the lions roar in the evening. How cool is that? Yeah, I definitely want to go walking up and down Looking Glass Road again someday and hear the lions roar. And believe my aunt lives out there now. Grandma's passed away. Oh, this is funny. The elephant likes to pose for the camera. As soon as the elephant saw my mom holding the camera, yep.
Oh, look at the camera hog.
Here we are at Silts Bay, or Silts Beach. As you can see, we're at low tide right here, it looks like. Nice sand dunes. By the way, Silts Beach is about halfway between Reedsport and Florence, Oregon.
My stepdad should know better than to dare me to walk out in that cold water. Normally I'd do it, but I bet that ocean was pretty cold in early May. Northern Pacific. Brr, 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 brr. I love cold water, but whew. I wouldn't be surprised if the locals looked at us thinking, who the hell are they and what are they doing in that water this time of year? Crazy Michiganders, that's who we are. This is a special park for Venus flytraps. Garden, I guess I should say. We didn't make it at the right time of the year. The season was off, and yeah, that's pretty cool though. Venus flytrap garden.
They all look like they've already
Woo, Burr, Crater Lake, Oregon. Woo, we really went at the wrong time of the
There's the
year.
boss. Are you cold yet?
Getting there. Crater Lake, way off in the distance there is Wizard Island.
Yep, Crater Lake, Oregon. A must-see. Deepest lake.
Lake is too big to get the whole thing in, even with the wide-angle lens.
We made sure to go later in the season the next visit. Crater Lake is a
Just
must
stay
visit.
in the middle of the road.
More ice on the other side. Got a little bit of cliff shadows. Nice.
The snow is deep.
Yeah, we definitely made sure to go later in the season, 3 years later in 1993. And we're on our way back to Michigan. We got to see plenty of sights, visit family, and oh, I can't remember which state
Here it
this
is,
was.
Ryan. The mountain you drove through the dark.
Utah, maybe? We had to revisit
3
this road
years
that we
ago.
traveled on 3 years previously in the pitch dark. And wow, the cliffs were steep with no guardrails. Whew.
Ways
Wow.
down there. They're still going up.
Now we're still on our way back to Michigan. We stopped to see the Lincoln Memorial, I believe, in Illinois. So, yep, that wraps up the trip for 1990. A very fulfilling trip. I believe these parks look way better now. They certainly improve over the years. Less dirt tracks, more pavement, more boardwalks. Thank you, Mr. Lincoln. You rock. Okay, fast forward to 1993. We're starting this trip here in Glacier National Park, Montana.
Entrance to Glacier National Park.
International.
It's very unfortunate
From
the weather
car
just
window.
was not in our favor this visit. We did not get to see any good glaciers. Unfortunately, they're gone now. One of the tours that took us up to a glacier was canceled due to snow. But I'm very grateful that I got to visit there. I wasn't able to get back there again after this. I made a trip in 2005, but I couldn't quite make it all the way up there because I needed to get to California for my next dialysis treatment. So we didn't get to see very many glaciers, but we sure got to see some darn cool waterfalls. From here in Glacier National Park in Montana, we make our way to Spokane, Washington.
Might as well get a picture of the old homestead. It changed a lot.
This is the homestead where my mother grew up. She was born and raised here. She grew up with horses. It's just outside of Spokane, Washington. I feel real fortunate to get a chance to see the place. Even though most of the buildings in the house she lived in were run down, there was still family living there in one of the houses, and another family member had a trailer. And man, the barn. I got to go through a lot of cool stuff in that barn. That barn had some really cool stuff. Multnoma Falls. A lot of people have visited this place. I think this visit in 1993, the bridge up above to cross the falls was under construction. A lot of people get married on that bridge. One thing I like about traveling out northwest is there's so many waterfalls just alongside of the road like this. It's pretty cool. Something you don't get to see where I'm from. We're back at Crater Lake, 1993. Weather was much nicer. You can see that there's still snow, but the place is not covered in snow. It was a much more enjoyable experience. Crater Lake. There's Wizard Island. Yep. Look up the history on Crater Lake. It's quite fascinating. There's Grandma. Grandma traveled all the way up into her old age. And I'm very glad we were able to take her with us. There she is. She was pretty much to the point where she couldn't travel much anymore. And there I am, holding my newborn sister. That means I'm pregnant, because I got pregnant the same day she was born, believe it or not. 15 and pregnant there. I don't think they even know how deep that lake is, to be honest. It's supposed to be the deepest one. I can imagine that's a cold lake. Bird wouldn't want to go swimming there. Fall Creek Falls. Man, this place is special to my family. It's just outside of Grandma's. It's more of a locals hiking trail, but it's quite a rewarding trail. I sure wish I had this trail outside my home. Ah, well, there I am, 15 and pregnant. Almost looks like I treated my hair a little bit. Hi, Mom. My mother is 36 years old here. That's my youngest sister, Jeannie. Back to the ocean. You can hear the seals barking. Always got to make a trip out to the coast.
Here we are, Shore Acres, August 2nd, 1993. Nice fog bank to work with today.
Back to Shore Acre Gardens.
Shore Acre Gardens. Flowers everywhere. Anything. Here's the lighthouse from the distance.
I have no idea where that little zoo was at, but it sure was funny. I had to throw it in there. Now we're on our way back to Michigan. First stop, the Three Sisters. A great lookout. Northeast corner of Oregon, I think. You can see three mountains. It's quite a famous place. And just like any good lookout, it's a long hike in. Volcanic rock everywhere. Really glad we stopped there on our way home. Way out there. Pretty cool. Oh boy, here we go. Another trip down the waterfall. Plenty of waterfalls, northwest. And this time we stopped at Yellowstone on the way home rather than on the way to Oregon this time in 1993.
I don't know. Is it poop? Is the animal poop?
Stop kicking around the animal poop, Jamie Joe.
Oh.
This is the northwest corner of Yellowstone. Yellowstone is so big, it has many different areas. Now all this volcanic stuff and Yellowstone is just so cool. It has lots of cool things to look at with the geysers and the vents and the bubbly, splashy things. But man, oh, it smells awful. Smells awful. Sulfur, just, whew. It's really cool to visit, but man, oh man, stinky, stinky. Wow, I can't believe I'm only 15 right there. Yeah, we get to see a few geysers. Geysers are pretty cool. We get to see Old Faithful, of course.
I got it.
Yeah, there you go. Have Shlisa do that camera.
Notice the birds come flying in.
Got it, Shlisa?
Looks like they're flying into the mist. Isn't that cool?
Old Faithful.
And now to continue our journey back to Michigan. This trip to Mount Rushmore was way better. The park had improved quite a bit in 3 years with new boardwalks and stuff. The weather was nice, and the Sturgis bike rally gathering thing was going on as well, so there were motorcycles galore at this trip. Very, very cool. So that concludes this VHS episode. Thank you all for coming along. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it wasn't too long. I took a good while to edit this down. Next week, we'll see. Maybe I'll come up with some time on the farm or a fishing trip. So stick around and maybe I'll see you next week. I'll leave you with a few waterfalls. Thanks again and take care.